Willpower Zone with Will Berry.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Will again. Welcome back to the Willpower Zone. We're on episode 7, so I do have my little co-pilot here with me, my daughter. So she didn't want to be put down, so I wanted to make sure she can tag along with me. So do a little bit of multitasking. So that's life. Of course, you got to make time for each and everything. But I wanted to check in and dive into a really big thing, which is really taking risks in your life and going after things that are worth living for, which is your dreams. So we're gonna go over a couple things today, a couple different points. Point number one, really, which is, of course, the fear factor. And I'll go a little bit more in detail, a little bit more about that, and what it has to do about taking the risks that you need to get to the life that you want. After that, we'll go, of course, the power of your dreams. Next, after that, we'll, of course, go into the learning through failure, and then we'll close things out. So I also want to welcome new listeners, people the first time that you ever, of course, are listening to me. You can check me out on Spotify as well as also my YouTube channel. You can also be able to get the link in the bio and be able to, of course, like and subscribe, as well as also to the Spotify channel. So make sure to do that. If you haven't got a chance to listen to the other previous episodes, make sure to do that, so that you can really kind of get the full context of how we've arrived at this particular point. But I want to thank you all for joining me today. But yes, make sure to also, I encourage you to also reach out to other people and let people know, just about the podcast and, really just the value that it can bring to their lives, and, at least tell 5 people that can really just help them during these times. And I know a lot that's been going on. So, but let's dive into it. So first things first, really the fear factor. So, we know that when it comes to, taking risks and going after your dreams, there's going to be a lot of fear that creeps in. And remember that show, The Fear Factor, and all the different insane challenges. And one of the more, of course, noticeable ones, or the ones that we all remember, are some of the things that some of the contestants had to eat, which were some of the most vile, horrible things that I remember. And it's just like, yeah, you couldn't pay me enough to go through all that. But it kind of teaches us a lesson about sometimes being willing to go to great lengths, and going past our fears, in the sense, and the fears that we have within ourselves, and thinking about the things that we wish or we think we can't do. And that was really, in many cases, the premise of the show. Is just like, what are the great lengths that people are willing to do for, a check of $50,000. I think that was the actual amount. But really, the other thing also too is just, just the false evidence appearing real. And a lot of times our fears, sometimes, yes, they are very real. However, they're only real to the person who has this going consistently within their reality. So we always kind of be mindful of these fears and things that are going on within us, and realize, especially, you can put those things to rest as we move past that and are willing to take the risk. Really, it's just betting on ourselves. And that's really when it comes to our dreams. These are only our dreams, mind you. No one else's dreams. This is just your dreams. And when you can take the step to be able to dive deeper into that, the fear starts to just dwindle and be able to kind of fade away, when you know that you're worth it, and you're on a mission to be able to realize your fullness of your potential. And yes, you're going to have to move past your fears. So I'll give you an example. Even for me, there's a couple instances in my life, this being one of them. Starting this podcast, I remember going over in my mind and saying, okay, am I ready? Or is this the next step for me? And a lot of different things going on in my mind. Or what do people think? Will be supportive? And you really kind of have to put those things to rest and say, wait a minute, what if this is the very thing I should be doing? Remember, our mission and our purpose in life, it's not more so just for us specifically, but it's for others, and it's really to create an impact in people's lives. And that's really just taking the risks and going after your dreams, for the life that you want. It's not just for you, it's for other people. That's really, in many cases, what led me to kind of really just saying, you know what, I'm going to look back 5 years from now and be able to say, wait a minute, I could have got started sooner. And just like the old adage saying, the best time to be able to plant a tree basically was, 5-10 years ago. But the second best time to be able to plant that tree is now. So you always want to make sure to, be mindful of that. The second thing also too is that I wanted to go over is just the power of your dreams. And there's a lot of great energy that goes behind when we think and we create, the dreams that we want to pursue and we want to go after. Remember, you got to dream big. It's your life. These are your goals. This is your mission. The bigger you dream, the more that it should end up really creating a situation where it makes you a little uncomfortable. And if it's insane, and if you literally said, hey, if you end up telling your dream to about 5 people, if they don't look at you kind of crazy, then you haven't dreamed big enough. So let the opportunity, the energy that goes into your dreams, things that you can't, wait to get to, use that energy to really power you through to taking the proper steps that you need to make things more real to you. But don't wait until you get to that point when you arrive at the point where, hey, now I wake up and now I'm living the life of my dreams. Start those feelings now. Start those activities now. That's why I encourage you to start to feel that now. Because remember, as you start to kind of tap into a variety of different things and energy and using energy for good and using energy to really power you through to get to a certain particular point, you'll start to realize how much, this really, really depends on singularly to you. So I encourage you, take the risks, take the steps that you need to. Remember, sometimes it doesn't have to be big things. Sometimes, remember, small increments over a period of time end up turning into something really big. So I encourage you, use that energy. And, in many cases, we all have the ability to be able to transmute energy, good, bad, or indifferent, and be able to turn it into something that's productive rather than something that's destructive and takes us and takes for us to have a couple steps back instead of moving forward. So and then the next thing I want to also talk about is really just learning through failure. Remember, the road to success is paved away by the various attempts that we make. Not more so mistakes, but just learning. Just like when we all, of course, were growing up and we were babies and we were learning how to walk. What happened? Well, we didn't get it right the first time. We had to continue to keep working at it because our desire to get into things and make life a little harder for our parents, guaranteed, really was the burning desire for us to say, I've got to learn how to walk so I can be able to walk around and be able to start to explore and experience life to its fullest. And that's the same thing with through anything. You've got to learn. Remember, I heard this quote the other day. Steph Curry was talking to Michael Jordan. He used to say, what's more gratifying, or what hurts more, which is losing, or the opportunity to be able to win. And of course they both talk about, especially how both of them hate losing, but they knew that was a necessary step to get to where they wanted to get to. The biggest times that we can be able to learn a lot is by when we were right at the point where we were about to succeed at something exactly that we wanted, and we fell a little bit short. And I know exactly what that's like, especially in my pursuit when I was going through and trying to figure out how to get to the point where I can become a pro football player, various tryouts and attempts and everything else. And if I knew what I knew now, I could go at it a little bit differently, but I don't regret it. You don't regret, the only things you regret in life is the shots you didn't take. And I was more than fortunate enough to be able to learn through that failure and learn and be able to take the nuggets that I can take now and be able to correlate that to all the other things that I'm now, moving into. So I encourage you, take those reps that may not always look right. And that's like with anything, when we're trying to lose weight, we're trying to build good habits or anything like that, it's always going to look a little funny. It's always going to look a little off when we're first getting started. But if we just get past that point to just the willingness to learn and try again and again and again, we'll see the fruit of our work and little signs and symptoms, and be able to say, wait a minute, I'm getting a little bit closer. Let me go at this a little bit harder. So I encourage you, Don't miss out on those opportunities, even when it doesn't look right. And then eventually, through those attempts, you will see that things will really start to pick up steam, and you'll really start to make some huge progress and see points. And that's like that with anything. If you want to become a great shooter, you want to become a great passer, or whatever it is in life, great salesperson, it really does not matter. You know that you have to take those opportunities, to take those steps, to try and rehearse and go over and over and over again to be able to get good at it. So I want to close out with one big thing, which is, what if today was your very last day? Okay. And because you've been told, yes, this is your last day, what would you do with that? Right? Would you make the most out of your very last day and be willing to take the steps forwards that you need, take the risks that you need to, right? Trust me, I don't want to get morbid or anything like that, but I just kind of want just to kind of remind you, especially, each and every day is not promised, right? So we want to take opportunity to be able to use the most out of each and every day, and go after your dreams. Trust me, they're your dreams. Don't go through life trying to figure out, saying, oh, well, how's this going to work? Or when's this going to happen? Remember, the only things you should be mostly focused on is just the why and the what. Other than that, everything else will take care of itself. So I encourage you to do that. So I enjoy our time today. I'm excited for you to just be tapping in with me. And I, of course, will be coming out with another episode fairly soon, going over another topic that's near and dear to me. So I enjoyed our time today. Make sure to like and subscribe, especially on the YouTube channel. So you can always get reminders, especially about the next podcast episode, the Willpower Zone. And also, too, same thing with Spotify. Every time, of course, I come out with a new episode, you get reminded. So make sure to subscribe to that as well. But look forward to seeing you again in the zone, in the Willpower Zone. I'll see you soon.